Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Mickey Cup today, and we're going to talk a little bit about bullies and standing up to bullies. I made a post the other day about this on the Survive and Defend Facebook page, shared it around a couple places, and had a comment about how to stand up to bullies and what about these zero tolerance policies the schools have and so forth. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, I've taught classes to kids at YMCAs and different places about standing up to bullies and doing things. And some of the education that I've learned come from working with Peyton Quinn, courses by Bill Kipp for his bully prevention training. And so I've learned from some different resources. And one of the things I would teach before anything gets physical, you can stand up to a bully by using a power stance. And I think I got that from Bill Kipp, where it's a defensive stance where you blade a little bit, but you hold your hands up more in a non-threatening. We're not balling up our fists and wanting to fight, but we're holding it up in a stop right there, stay back, and teaching kids how to use their power voice and being assertive, not aggressive, just like we teach adults when we're doing things with a stranger coming up on the street, somebody trying to get into our bubble, and we tell them, stop right there. Okay? We're going to be assertive. We're not going to be aggressive. So we teach the same thing to kids when the bullies come up, stay back, and teaching them to do things that can actually stop a bully. A lot of times that's all that's needed is a good assertive power phrase. Stay away from me, stand back. With that assertive stance, rather than running and cowering and being afraid, often that's enough. And it's also creating witnesses that so-and-so did not want to fight. That was the aggressor. So we're showing who the bully is. We're showing who the person that's standing up to the bully is. Now, in my classes, we would practice this with the kids to get where they have that power stance and that loud, assertive voice and that power voice. Let the teacher, let somebody else know what's going on. But we would go further, and I would actually teach them actual self-defense techniques, basic things like a palm heel and so forth, if that didn't work. Because I'm not saying it will work 100% of the time. And I would also explain to the kids and the parents that if they use these techniques, they could get expelled too with these zero tolerance policies. But I rather my child get in trouble with the admin rather than hurt by a bully. And I'll go to bat for my child, and I hope parents would go to bat for their children. And it was pretty unanimous with the parents that were there saying, yeah, I want my child to smash that bully's face rather than getting physical hurt if there's no other alternatives. But we try the power stance, the power voice, those other alternatives first. And the smashing them in the nose and so forth is the last resort to keep them from being hurt, just like it should be in any self-defense situation. So those are a couple of things. And again, it was a longer class, multiple weeks, where we taught a variety of things. But first and foremost, power stance, power voice, stand up to them, tell them to stop, stay away. And when that doesn't work, when it often will, we can resort to other things, and we'll deal with those zero tolerance policies as they come up. Want to say good morning to a few people. Richard's here. Good morning, Richard. Like to see you. Assertive, not aggressive. Great, empowering message. Thank you, Richard. And that is such an important concept because we can be assertive and we can de-escalate and stop things. We can go too far. We can be aggressive and escalate things to violence. And we see that all the time with little things that don't need to go physical, but they do because people get aggressive rather than assertive language to stop things. Those are some of the great classes used to teach with Peyton Quinn, doing some of that, where we'd be role playing and so forth with that situations to get people to be assertive and not aggressive in their response. Dixon's here. Good morning, Dixon. Dixon says, my favorite phrase, step off. Okay. Using the MF might be getting into a little aggressive instead of assertive. But it can actually work in certain situations. You have to be able to read the crowd. Obviously not going to, and Dixon laughed at that little part. Obviously not going to teach that to little kids. But in some situations, that can work. And so you have to know when and where to use different kind of language, different kind of assertions to prevent the violence. But some of the best things we can teach kids is that power stance, power voice, and things like stop right there, leave me alone. Things like that can be assertive. They can be empowering for those kids. They have fun practicing it, and you want to get them loud and be able to do that. And then it can help them on the playgrounds and in the different places at school. So that's first and foremost how I would stand up to a bully when I'm talking schoolyard and kids, because that's what the post was about, and that's what that question was about. But then we go farther and we do learn physical skills just in case we have to use them or the children have to use them. And we acknowledge if they use them, they may get in trouble, and we'll deal with that if it happens. But I rather have my child safe and not hurt because they smashed a bully's nose rather than get beat up by the bully. And we'll deal with the admin later rather than them getting hurt. So we want to have those different layers, just like we have them as adults. We want to use de-escalation, assertive language, prevent violence. Then we have non-lethal violent techniques to use, all the way up to lethal force in certain situations. So we always have the range of responses. Children have a range too. They're not going to be carrying lethal weapons, obviously, but they have a range. And the first is power stance, power voice with assertive language. And that is often enough to stop things. Sign up to the newsletter at enjoylifesafely.com. Get a free ebook on keeping yourself safe while you do it. Because that's what I'm here for, to help you stay safe, enjoy life, and be exceptional. Make sure we stand up to bullies, do everything we can to stop that behavior, because nobody should be bullied. And we need to do everything we can to prevent that and not have people live in fear and be afraid and have that. We want to empower people to stand up for themselves, and we want to stand up for others as well. So just let's remember that, especially as school is starting. That's where a lot of bully behavior happens, and we want to do everything we can to prevent it. Make it a tremendous Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.